number one, best of any producer I've ever met. More imagination. He's a great songwriter. He's a great arranger. Great engineer, great producer. He knows exactly what he wants, and he doesn't stop until he gets it.
Darlene?
We would usually go into the studio, and within 1 to 5 takes, I was finished.
Let's forget about the intro for now. Let's just come right in. 1, 2, 3.
Phil was in town from New York City looking for someone to record He's a Rebel.
He's a rebel and you'll never be any good. He's a rebel 'cause he never ever does what he should. Then he comes uptown each evening to my tenement. Uptown where folks don't have to pay much rent. I met him on a Monday and my heart's fulfilled. They do run, 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 they do run, run. Somebody told me that his name was Bill. They do run, 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 they do run, run. Yeah, so won't you please be my Bill, baby. One and only, say be my darling. Why do lovers break each other's hearts?
Record selling these days?
Record selling? Oh, yeah.
So you got any hits out right now?
It's out. Righteous Brothers, Unchained Melody, big hit.
And time goes by so slowly. Something beautiful about it. You lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. And do I love you, my oh my? Carry the deep of my yeah. If I lost you, would I cry? Oh, I love you, baby, 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 baby. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be the long and winding road that leads to your door. My sweet love, my love, my sweet love. What's the pay dues if you wanna sing the blues and you know it don't come easy? You don't have to shout or leave them loud. You can even play them easy. Just like a woman, yeah, you're doing your thing. Just like a woman, yeah, and you're just like a woman. Some karma's gonna get you. Gonna look you right in the face.
Better get yourself together, darling.
Join the human race. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry that I made you cry. Oh, your call. Oh, your call. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You.
Great working with you, Phil.
Just to see him smile makes my life worthwhile. To know him is to love him, and I do, 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 and I do. I'd be good to him. I'd bring love to him. Everyone says there'll come a day when I'll walk alongside of him. Oh, yes, yes, to know him is to love him, and I do, 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 and I do. Why can't he see how blind can he be? Someday he will see that he was meant for me. Oh, yes, to know him.
Truly a genius. In 1966, Phil made an extraordinary record entitled River Deep, Mountain High, cited by many as his greatest single effort. Here to introduce our next inductee is the singer of that landmark song. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Miss Tina Turner.
Thank you. I'm really happy that I came this evening. It was so good to see everyone here tonight. I'm sure that many successful artists could stand here and give many exciting experiences from working with Phil, but I get the chance to do it. I'm really very happy to have touched his music and his success. My first experience my most important experience I'll give you is that during the production, I was really quite nervous because it was the first time of being produced by an outside producer, and an unusual one. I walked into the recording studio, and Phil, at the time, it looked like about 50 musicians, 25 singers, and he was in the midst of tearing up what looked like an arrangement. And then he continued to conduct the orchestra, getting the wall of sound. I think back now and wish that all of the people that I sing for could have seen Phil Spector in action, working there with all those people and getting that sound. So I won't take any more time because Phil is here. And I'm very happy to say that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame welcomes Phil Spector.
Obviously, she's a tough act to follow, but if you bear with me, I'm about to introduce a gentleman who defined independent entrepreneurism in rock and roll industry. He's a man who wore many hats and left his signature on every project he completed. As a record producer, he created what was to become known as the Phil Spector Wall of Sound by recording multi-million selling records for the Ronettes, the Crystals, the Righteous Brothers, Ike and Tina Turner, Darling Love, Benny King, the Beatles, George Harrison, Ringo, John Lennon, as well as the box sets for Eric Clapton, Leon Russell, and Bob Dylan. As a songwriter, the list is equally as long. Spanish Harlem, You Lost That Love and Feeling, Be My Baby, The Do Run Run, Baby I Love You, Then He Kissed Me, and River Deep, Mountain High, of course. Mr. Spector's list of awards and acknowledgments are also impressive. A Grammy for producing the concert for Bangladesh, an Academy Award for producing the soundtrack for Let It Be, Country Song of the Year in 1989 as the writer of To Know Him Is to Love Him, covered by Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, and Linda Ronstadt. There have been 4 film documentaries without his permission completed on his life. There are at least 7 known unauthorized books written about him. He was inducted, obviously, into the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, 1989. And I must say, as a student of rock and roll history, that I'm still amazed at his ability to produce such sophisticated recordings as Walking in the Rain for the Ronettes, complete with Thunderstorm, and the passion record of all time, The Righteous Brothers, You've Lost That Love and Feeling, with the technology that was available to him at that time. It now gives me great pleasure and with deep respect that I introduced Mr. Phil Spector.
Man's a fraud, doesn't know how to use a microphone. What? Oh. Don't confuse me. Thank you, Doctor. Does this work? Yeah? Oh, it does. Somebody told me my aunt was here tonight. Amazing. I haven't seen my aunt in a long time. Well, it's a little bit difficult. So, how long do you think it'll be before they have Prozac Light on the market? That stuff makes you so sensible. You feel like this, last month's edition of Good Housekeeping. First of all, you must have that if you're going to speak. Let's not forget the Christmas album. You must remember that. It's funny. Somebody said Eddie Brigatti was here, and I think the doctor said it was from the Rascals a few years. Where are you? Oh, hey, how you doing? Hey. It's such a bad rap, It's like, people say Italians, have a problem. Italians, it's just how you know Italian. Defamation League been fighting for years about that. With your last name end in a vowel, you're a gangster, tough, and mean, and Italian. And if your name ends in a vowel, you got to be real careful because you're probably a thief, you're probably a crook, you probably murder, you probably steal. And you have to be very careful about people whose last name ends in vowel, like Shapiro. Yeah. Oh boy, poor OJ. Yeah. Well, this mess is because I'm not being paid very much for tonight, which gives you some idea of what my credibility is worth. In any event, this place a little bit like the Titanic, but the difference is I think the Titanic had an orchestra, but it's very, very nice. It's very, very sweet. But you all in the music business, or you all getting into the music business? Well, the only thing I can tell you about the music industry and the business of which I know. First of all, let me tell you, my name is Phil Spector, and I don't know if I'm real or Memorex, but you'll have to figure that out. I'm dysfunctional by choice. I do have an attitude problem that I love. I am not opinionated. I'm just always right. And there's a big difference between me and God because God never thinks he's me. So don't remember that. And what I really want to know is, where the hell is Elizabeth Taylor in my hour of need? I never quite figured that out. The music business, a little bit like Sodom and Gomorrah on a smaller scale. You know, what's really interesting about it, it's the most interesting thing I've ever learned about the music industry is that it's sort of like a proctologist's dream. Assholes wall to wall. Sorry. I know you learn all that stuff about it, that you can about that. But now most of the people you meet, I find, in the music industry, we call them walking haircuts, empty suits, pair of shoes with 3 heels. Never realized there was a time in America when BC meant something other than before cable. They usually do the work of 3 men, till you find out it's Larry Moe and Curly Joe. And then you will always find out that the most prominent and profound thing that they know is how to put, this will get disgusting, then you'll have to fasten your safety belts because it's going to be a bumpy evening. The most definite thing that they know is, I won't say it because obviously it's a different kind of a crowd tonight. They know how to put their underwear on. Yellow stains in front, brown stains in back. You see, everybody knows that one. That's disgusting. No, look, you know, I don't know whether I'm here to lecture or advise or what, but I can tell you that there will be times in your life, as there were in mine, when people have said to me, well, how you fit in? I said, what do you mean how I fit in? Well, how you fit in? I mean, you're not this, you're not that, you don't fit in all that stuff. I say, well, first of all, you have to realize the most terrifying thing is ignorance in action. If you realize that, then maybe you're on the road. Then you say to yourself, well, I live in America, a country that names its opera houses the Met and its prison Sing Sing. Maybe there's a place for me out there, you understand? And then those mornings when you wake up and you say to yourself, it's impossible. It's never going to happen for me. I'm never going to make it. You know, you're so depressed you wish your mother had taken the pill. You're so full of rage that you wish China, you know, if hate were a country, you'd be China. You just say to yourself, in a world where carpenters get resurrected, anything's possible. So there's a room, there's a place for you. And remember, great minds have always encountered opposition from mediocre minds. And it was Albert Einstein who said, 2 things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity. Only I'm not sure about the universe. You see? And then you look at art, which is, you must look at it as art, is the way 2 people looked at art. I don't know how they got Michelangelo's quote, but Michelangelo was quoted as saying, after people had said about his artwork, that it was marvelous and wonderful. And he replied, if they knew how hard it was to do, they wouldn't think it was so wonderful. And Thomas Edison, when asked about his work, he said, I never worked a day in my life. It was all fun. So it's how, I guess it's how you look at things, you know. Well, for example, Woodstock. Somebody said about Woodstock. How you feel about Woodstock? I said, what do you want me to feel about Woodstock? 69, yeah, 69. 69. So you going to go to Woodstock 69? I said, I didn't go to Woodstock 69. Why am I going to go? Don't you want to relive 1969? I said, I did relive 1969. They said, you didn't go to Woodstock? I didn't go to Woodstock. But I relived 1969 in a much better way than going to Woodstock. Yeah, Mr. Spector, how did you relive 1969? I didn't go to Vietnam again. Woo. And you know, so I figured with Woodstock, the Beatles reuniting, I mean, that's the Carpenter, you know, the Beatles, Stones on tour, Eagles, I figured probably by 2001, the 60s will be over. You know, I don't know. But it's amazing because a lot of people come up to me and ask me about how you feel about the industry today and this and that and this. First of all, the sexual orientation in the videos. I mean, obviously I don't know exactly about what you want me to speak. I'm always worried about him because he watches those prepositions about which you want me to speak. I don't know exactly, but people have said about the videos, come on, Mr. Spector, be realistic. Time magazine said to me, that's porn. The videos are turning into porno. I mean, that's what it's becoming. I said, be specific. They say, well, how about that Madonna video? Oh, the one from a couple of years ago with Ted Koppel and all that. Oh, I see. You want to use that as a classic example. Okay. I said, yeah, that's a classic example, the chains, the this and that. It was about so close to porno. Well, was it porno or wasn't it porno? Well, yeah, that's porno. And you should come out against that. Rest his soul, Frank Zappa pretended to be, and Tipper Gore pretended to be against him, and this and that. She became the vice president's wife. He passed away, and suddenly we don't hear anything more about, you know. I mean, obviously she used rock and roll as a stepping stone. The same way I used rock and roll to my mother when I told her I'm interested in sex, drugs, and rock and roll as a child. She figured I'm going to be a politician, in rock and roll. So it's something you use things to you take advantage of it, like youth. You take advantage of youth. That's the whole thing about youth. You take advantage of it because it's the only chance and time in life you'll get that second chance to make that first mistake. You're never going to get it again. So taking advantage of youth is no. It's not like, youth is wasted on the young, or that's all nonsense. Take advantage of it the same way you would anything else, because you're never going to get that chance again. So somebody said to me about the video. So I said, there is a difference between videos, be it Madonna, we'll use that as the classic example, and a porno film. They say, well, we don't see the difference, and we're doing a story on it because that Ted Koppel's doing her. There's a big difference between a Madonna video and a porno film. And the difference is, some porno films got pretty good music. To get from what was to be what will be, you got to go through what is, and I'm the Wizard of Is. No, but it's amazing how, I'll go into something else about Berlin in a minute, about 3 generations of songwriters far apart had nothing to do with each other, yet had the same symbolism, the same imagery, and the same brilliance. You take Jim Reeves, Garth Brooks, and Leonard Bernstein. All knew how to put something together that nobody can find that link to, that symbolized what a great songwriter is. For example, you had Leonard Bernstein writing, Bronx is up and the battery's down. Okay, he used the word to emphasize the sound of where it is. New York, New York, it's a wonderful town. The Bronx is up and the battery's down. Beautiful. Then 20 years later, Jim Reeves comes along. Tell the man to turn the jukebox way down low. He didn't know he was doing what Leonard Bernstein was saying. Then Garth Brooks comes along 20 years later and says, I have places in low places. All had some ability, yet if the 3 of them ever met, they never talked to each other. Oh, you're Garth Brooks. Oh, you're Jim Reeves. Oh, you're Leonard Bernstein. They would never have anything, but they had a tremendous bond. They had the ability to really write creatively. And that's very, very important if you're looking at songs. So when you go into the situation of today, what is happening in music, and you hear about this symbolism where they're saying that this guy is using profanity, this guy's, first of all, the most obscene word in English language, 4-letter word, is dead. Nothing more obscene than that. Has no redeeming social, by Supreme Court standards, no redeeming social value. Does not feel contemporary community standards, and deals with your prudent interest because it's absurd. But I'm obscene too, so I can define what obscenity is. I have no redeeming social value. I don't deal with contemporary community standards, so it doesn't matter to me, what they think or what they don't think of me. But if you go into the situation wherein you have people writing songs, you have the situation where Buckley once told me, William Buckley told me, Mr. Spector, you people don't really consider yourselves the new Mozarts, the American Mozart, the American Tchaikovskys. No, obviously, maybe Stephen Foster I do, but I don't. But let's assume that for the sake of reality, or argument, or discussion, that Berlin, Porter, Gershwin are the heir apparent to the Mozart, Tchaikovsky. As William F. Buckley and rest his soul David Susskind thought. Okay. They don't understand. There's a big difference. So if we'll just use Irving Berlin, and we'll just use Amadeus Mozart, and we'll say, Buckley, do you know that there's a difference between Mozart and Berlin? Well, I don't know, whatever he does in his nonsense way, you know. I don't know that there's any difference between them, Mr. Spector. I said, well, there is a very big difference between Mozart and Berlin. Would you like to know what it is? Well, if there is such a difference, I would like to know what it is. You want me to tell you? Yes, the difference between Berlin and Mozart? I said, I don't know, Mr. Buckley, but Berlin did. And that's the same thing. When Time magazine 6 months ago did the story on Eddie Vedder and John Lennon, I said, I don't know the difference between Eddie Vedder and John Lennon, but Eddie Vedder does. I don't know the difference between Guns N' Roses and the Rolling Stones, but Guns N' Roses does. So you can't compare art. It just doesn't work. But if you dare tell Berlin you're Mozart, he'll laugh at you. That doesn't work. You know, it's like we all waited for Ma Bell to break up the phone company. Now we're stuck with Spirit, Sprint, Mirror, that. We can't wait to get AT&T back again. So you can't judge those things. They're all, so you have the people who write, for example, a song. Phil Spector, go up there, write a song about love. How much it means to you, write something important. Okay, the night we met, I knew I needed you so. Sexual. Has some inspiration, but it's your imagination that you put in that makes those people say or think what they want to think. Something about departing love. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. Okay. Have I ever told you how good it feels to hold you? Okay, it isn't easy to explain. Not bad, Spector. Pretty good, Spector. Nice job, Spector. Okay, now you get another guy like Johnny Mercer come along. And he writes a song, and he says, and when the angels ask me to recall the thrill of them all, I'll simply tell them I remember you. Whoa, very sophisticated, very talented. You got anything else for us, Johnny? Yeah, how about Fools Rush In, Where Angels Fear to Go, but Wise Men Never Fall in Love, so how they didn't know. Oh, very, very good. Very, very good. So you got two different love songs, two different levels of sophistication and art and talent. Now you get a guy, Lorenz Hart comes along, and he says, I took one look at you, that's all I had to do, and then my heart stood still. Whoa, this is another way of, whoa, more sophistication. Then you got Cole Porter, you're right, you know, birds do it, bees do it, even educated fleas do it. It's getting a little bit silly here, you know, and I love the north, east, west, south of you, the nose, eyes, ears, and mouth of you. Now you know what he's saying. It's just he's saying it in an intellectual, sophisticated, talented way. Then you get a guy who writes a song, one of the greatest love songs ever written, If I Don't Love You, Baby. Grits ain't groceries, eggs ain't poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. That's another way of saying, boom, you know, which happens to be a great love song, not in tradition. Then you get Lorenz Hart coming back again and saying, yeah, well, try this one out. I'm wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. And people say, do that one again. I'm wild again, beguiled again, a simpering, whimpering child again, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. Which leaves you to another thought. If Oscar Hammerstein was a genius, and he was, and Lorenz Hart was a genius, which he was, what the hell was Richard Rodgers? Wrote with both of them. Plus Victory at Sea. I hate him. I mean, he was that good. They were that good. So when people tell you today, they don't make players like Babe Ruth anymore. They don't make them, these guys are awful. They don't make songwriters like Cole Porter anymore. They don't make Thomas Jeffersons anymore. They don't make Berlins anymore. They don't make anything the way they used. It's not that it's better than. That's not memories or nostalgia. That's fact. That's what we call accuracy. The difference between right and wrong has nothing to do with the truth or false. Right and wrong is I'm right, you're wrong, so there is no right and wrong. What does it lead you to? It leads you to true and false. Who's telling the truth? Everybody knows I'm telling the truth. He's lying. He's lying. I'm lying. What do you really want in an argument about what's the first casualty in any litigation? In any argument? The truth. So what do you really want when you have a discussion about accuracy? You don't want your government to tell you the truth. You want your government accurately to tell. We would have been out of Vietnam a long time ago. Tell us accurately what's going on. So it's the same thing with the songs. It's the same situation. So what you have now is you have the courts deciding, you know, here we have all these songwriters who wrote all these songs. Okay, Grits Ain't Grocery, Eggs Ain't Poultry, Be Wild Again, Be Wild. And then Bob will get up and say, you know, yes, my friend, blew my blood and red. Bob, you'll have to speak a little more clearly if we're going to understand that one. Happy birthday. It's nobody's birthday, Bob. Always saying happy birthday, Bob. Happy birthday. A little lower, Walter Brennan was, and Bob's about, you don't understand either one of them. But Brennan won 3 Academy Awards. Amazing. And Bob's still saying, where's George Harrison? Bangladesh is over, Bob. No, dress up next time. No, I like Bob. Bob's good, man. Bob's good. You know, Bob's good. It's hard to live, you know. I mean, you know, that's the problem. Like, everybody is, you're all a cause of the past. You're all a part of the past. The problem is to become a cause of the future. That's the job. I mean, that's the goal. That's destiny. That's where you're going to say something that changes it. So you have these people who are saying goodnight now. No, you have these people who are saying, you know, so you have these 5 songs, these 5 songwriters. You have Berlin, you got Mercer, you got Debba, Lorenz Hart, you got Richard Rogers, and you're saying, going back to Be Wild Again, Bewitched, people saying they're not writing songs like that anymore. Bewitched, Bob and Miller, they're not talking like that anymore. For God's sakes, they're not thinking like that anymore. Who says bewitched by? I mean, if somebody come to me, Mr. Spector, you're a songwriter, we have a song for you. We want you to write it. It's called Bewitched by the... No, pass. Can't do it. Johnny Mercer took more assignments of songs I would have passed on. Write a song called The Access in Topeka and the Santa Fe. Pass. Can't do it. Charles, can't do it. Can't do it. On the Access in Topeka and... Can't do it. Glow, little glowworm. Glimmer, glimmer. Can't do it. Can't do it. Pass. Johnny Mercer was always there. I'll take that one. That's a good one for me. He wrote actual lyrics to Satin Doll. She's satin, that. I mean, she's Latin, that's sad. I mean, who can think? I mean, I happen to have been 5 mentors took me under their wing. One was Johnny Mercer, Bob Hilliard, Bob Russell, Ray Gilbert. And they took me under the wing in 1960, 61, so I learned a lot from them, and I tried to repay with my gratitude and honor to them. I did zippity-doo-dah for Ray. But I mean, these were giants, you know. Bob Hilliard was the 5th one. I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late for a very important... I mean, you're home. It's okay. It's like one of the best songs that Harbach ever wrote. There's an E.Y. Harbach and Ib Harbach. One of the best songs that he ever wrote was The Wizard. Not Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I'm off to see the Wizard, the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he's the wonderful wizard of wizard. If ever there was, there was. If ever there was, there was, there was. The wonderful wizard was. The wonderful wizard was. Wonderful wizard because the wonderful things he does. What the hell is that? There's no way. I can't write that. I couldn't. Pass. Call Harold Arlen. Let's do Come Rain or Come Shine. Get me Mercer on the phone. I'm not working on this project anymore. So you got these 5 goddamn songwriters still there trying, okay. Now you got a guy who comes along. He's heard My Heart Stood Still. He's heard My Verse, The Night We Met, I Knew You Say So. He heard Bewitched, Be Wild. He heard My Heart, Mind. Debbie. He's heard all these beautiful Lorenz Hart, and he writes a song called I'm Gonna Screw You All Night, Baby. What is that? What is that called? I'm going to screw you till it hurts, baby, because I love to screw you and I love to stick it in you. That's his song. Okay, now you say to yourself, as the Supreme Court and as the people in Florida, would be a 2-live crew, everything, they're saying, that's disgusting. That's awful. Okay, while none of us who wrote those other songs I named belong in the Songwriters Hall of Fame or winning Academy Awards, including the guy who wrote I'm Going to Screw You All Night Long, none of us belong in jail. Because what it comes down to is that guy is not as talented as we are. So you don't punish untalented artists. That can't be. And that's what they're doing. They're not having nothing to do with obscenity. You're not talented. You're not unsophisticated. It's not. It's true. They're not. They're not writing as talentedly as somebody else is. So you don't punish an untalented artist, throw him in jail. You just pass. You just... somebody comes to your party and passes the wind all night long. Bad taste. Don't need this guy around anymore. It's a question of taste and sophistication, talent, art. So the Supreme Court, the courts have nothing to do with this. Nothing whatsoever. And they don't get it. The courts don't get it. You can't punish untalented artists. That's what colleges are for. To make you a little more talented, more sophisticated, more... plug for the yeah, I like that one. Very, 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 very good. But I mean, that's why when you hear about musicians, most proudest profession you can be in, best profession you can be in, musician. No better. Worst thing a musician can do, play too many notes, not enough music. A lot of that going on today. A lot of that going on today. No different than what's going on. You see, but just to, I won't forget that thought, but just to go back for 1 second to what's going on today in the music, it remind me of that 50s movie. See, when we were rebelling, if that be the word, in the 60s, one must remember that our generation had a generation of parents. This generation has no excuse for their actions. For one reason, we're their parents. And we pretty much have a lot in common. My parents and their generation thought that a Jewish man named Jolson, dressing in blackface, singing Mammy, was the greatest entertainer that ever lived in the world. That's a generation gap. I got a problem with that, Mom. That's hard to accept. That ain't Elvis. I got a problem with a little Jewish man dressed in blackface singing Mammy. With no white men, with all white men dressed in blackface in the picture, would have been no black. I mean, something's wrong. But that was their hero. So that's a generation gap. But in the 60s, they were fighting an immoral war. They were fighting a war, more importantly than illegal and immoral, was the fact they were using us to die for them. That's what I feel most sadly about those Vietnam vets. They don't know what they fought for. They didn't really fight for anything, and that's the worst thing to do. It's like a drive-by shooting. There's no excuse for it. The government was wrong. There was no equal rights. There were no women in the workforce. There were no civil rights. There was no Voting Rights Act. And with all the changes we made in the government and the world, we still let the American Indian die. We couldn't do it all. But there was a reason. And this generation tends to make me feel like a 1950 film version, 55, 56, of Elie Kazan film Brando was in, The Wild One, where he plays the leader of a motorcycle gang, Hell's Angels. And he's in a bar, they've just taken over a town, Lee Marvin's the outlaw gang, he's an outlaw gang, and somebody comes up to the Brando character in the bar, or in the drugstore, whatever it was. Imagine there were actually places called drugstores. Notice how they got rid of the drug czar. There are no more drug czar. A drug is a terror. You can't even use that word anymore. So this guy comes up to him and says, "Hey, I know what you guys are. You're a bunch of rebels." And Brando character and is wearing a hat and black leather jacket. He looks at him and he says, "Nothing." He says, "You, what I want to know, you're the leader up there, right?" And Brando just looks at him again. This is 1950s. And the guy says to him, "I want to know, what are you rebelling against?" Brando looks back at him and says, "What do you got?" And this seems to be today a little bit what's going on. You know, a little bit of that going on. We rebel if it's important enough, or what do you got? What do you got? It's okay. So that's the only, you know, it's not a fault or anything, and I did forget that idea that I stopped on before. But I didn't want to take it with me. Elvis Presley was always accused of putting his name on songs. I was accused of that. But the most notorious writers who put their names on songs, who didn't write songs really, were Bing Crosby, Al Jolson. I mean, do you really believe that Bing Crosby wrote When the Moon Will Be? Now, if Elvis Presley came up to me, and I loved Elvis, he did, and he said, I said, and I wrote a song called I Love You Very Much, and he said to me, how's it like this? Well, I love you. Got it. Half the writing, it's yours. You got it, because that's the song. It ain't a song until that's it. I like that. That's very good. But what I bet you didn't know was that Charlie Chaplin, he tried to get the rights to the song Always by Irving Berlin. Couldn't get it. He tried to get it for Limelight. Couldn't get it. So he sat down and he rewrote it and he called it Eternally. I'll be loving you eternally with a love that's true. Now people say, Phil, you don't really know he rewrote it. I said, no, I just know Charlie Chaplin wrote that song. I mean, his name is on that song. Then he tried to get the rights to Dream. Now, Phil, maybe you make this up just to make your story sound good. Okay, maybe I do. He needed a 5-letter word, symbolic of something, da-da-da-da-da, and he couldn't get the rights to a Johnny Mercer song, who Johnny wrote alone. Mr. Mercer wrote it alone. Dream. And he wrote a song called Smile. Smile, though you're... Charlie Chaplin, sole writer. And the joke that went around in those days was probably more true than anything you've ever heard about Elvis. Was Charlie Chaplin even in the room when Smile was written? That was the standard musician joke that went around in that day. You think Charlie Chaplin was ever in the room when that song was written? Because it was so obvious to people, nah, he couldn't have done that. But I think he did. But that's how you can get that stigma. But if you watch a film from an Ed Lefebvre book called Come and Get It, with Francis Farmer and Edward Arnold, you will hear da 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 da. It's a public domain melody. Why shouldn't Elvis? Hey, somebody told me, you got all those songs on the Christmas album, but nobody's ever copyrighted Silent Night. So I put Silent Night, Phil Spector. You recorded, you got to pay me money. I mean, the fact that I did on this Christmas album, I rewrote the Do-Run-Run to fit in Santa Claus is coming to town, and everybody's done it that way since. I don't get nothing for that, so I made up with it from Silent Night. You record Silent Night, you got it. It says Phil Spector wrote Silent Night. Man, Cat been around. Cat had been around. By the way, I must tell you something. I hate Michael Bolton so much that I had to send a letter to the guy. I had to send a letter to Barry Manilow apologizing for hating him as much as I used to hate him. Because I hate Michael Bolton so much now. Michael Bolton got arrested the other night. What did he get arrested for? He got arrested for loitering in front of a stage. No, but the truth is, he lost that lawsuit, the Isley Brothers, and afterwards he came out and he said, I never heard of the Isley Brothers. I would never steal the Isley Brothers. I don't know who they are. I don't know why they did it. I don't know what they're talking about. I never did it. I never did it. I never did it. Well, it just reminded me, before I forget, of the police chief who asks the detective and says, hey, there's a guy whose wife got killed. Go out and question him. Okay, the detective goes out and questions the guy, and then he comes back to the chief of police, and chief of police says, well, what did he say? He said he don't know how his wife got killed, he don't know who killed his wife, he doesn't know where his wife got killed, he doesn't know when his wife got killed, doesn't know how his wife got killed, wasn't in town when his wife got killed, doesn't know anything about it, can't imagine how anybody would do it, and doesn't know a thing about it whatsoever. Chief of police said, what's wrong with that? He says, I never asked him. It's O.J., shh, don't talk. But it's Michael Bolton. So Michael, the story is, Michael Bolton says, I don't know, I never heard, I don't know, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da. I never would steal, I've never stolen, why would I steal? What do I know about stealing? And I don't know anything about stealing, and I never took their song, and that's it. So one reporter says, Mr. Bolton, yes, is it possible you might have heard it through the grapevine? To which Bolton was supposed to reply, excuse me, folks, I got to go now. I feel a song coming on. I mean, Michael Bolton is just the worst. I mean, and if you're ever told that money can't buy happiness, tell them, A, happiness can't buy money, and then B, tell them, you'd like to find out for yourself. It'll be fun, you understand? And I want to tell you this interesting story. Is it possible to get a little more air conditioning in here? Not at all, right? Okay, well, I guess not. Right, okay, I just had to refer to something that I wanted to tell you about. Yeah, I want to tell you, if it's possible. If it's not possible, that's okay. I like the doctor, Dr. Goodman. No, I was going to tell you before about musicians, why they're the best profession in the world, most honorable. Only profession, we don't want the doctors to miss any work. Oh, he didn't have it on. Whoa. It's on now. At a little dial, Doc. Doctor genius, but it's like air. You know why? Perfect. Didn't know the air conditioner was off, but listen, Albert Einstein invented the bomb, invented a nuclear fission, invented the theory of relativity, and you look at every picture of man could not invent a hair conditioner. Same principle. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, one day was a story about Irving Berlin, who was enrolled in a school, and I think I'm going to get a letter from the doctor saying, you know, we're so miserable without you, it's almost like you being here. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. That was very good. Fasten your safety belts. It's going to be a bumpy evening. Betty Davis got credit for that line. Actually, it was Joe Mankiewicz who wrote that line. Brilliant line. Fasten your safety belt. It was, Dorothy Parker who wrote when she read Katharine Hepburn. She went to see Katharine Hepburn after her first performance. It'll kill you if you're trying to do something. She said, I just saw a new artist tonight named Katharine Hepburn who runs the gamut from A to B. I'll kill you. Dr. Layden laughing. Yeah. The theory being that I come from ancestry is true. Yeah, Kong was his name, good man. King Kong, but the way they introduced Kong, that's what I would like on my epitaph. Not the enormous love, I did that moral and shit. In the movie King Kong, he was a king in the civilization. He was a king in his civilization. Now he comes to you merely a captive, something to gratify your curiosity. Ladies and gentlemen, here lies Spector. That sounds good. By the way, the mystery word tonight is yabba dabba doo. And you will find a lot of people in the recording industry who will have difficulty spelling IQ. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story that has to do with... did you follow the Michael Jackson situation? See, I must tell you, Bill Clinton has the lowest rating of any president in the history of I don't know how many years. And I guess that the thing... So. Yet he has, for whatever you like him, you don't, he went to war without firing a shot. He got us out of Haiti without killing any of our boys, who, I don't know why our boys killed themselves, we never did find that out. And screw that nonsense about O.J. Simpson and the right to know. The only thing the public has the right to know is why that U.S. air flight went down. Nobody's told us that yet. I'm not interested in cameras in the courtroom. I have to fly. I want to know why that flight went down. Nobody's told me. It's just like Giuliani spent millions and millions of dollars to convict Gotti. What did you convict him of? Murder. Gee, I didn't know Gotti murdered people for a living. Does he really? Amazing. They spent $6.5 million putting Gotti in jail. They still can't tell us who killed Kennedy. Don't make any sense to me. Don't make any. Why spend $6.5 million to put Gotti in jail? Yeah, I think a guy who had $68,000 income last year and lives like a mother. Yeah, he might have something to do with organized crime. He might. Possible. You know, but who cares? The guy he killed's mother said to his, before he went out that thing, he said, you know, someday you're going to lie dead in front of an Italian restaurant. He lied dead in front of an Italian restaurant. One thing about the mafioso, they never kill innocent bystanders. As opposed to the National Guard, they kill anybody who's in their way. Mafia come and get you, bang, you're dead, that's it. It's all over. Boom, 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 shoot bullets everywhere, you know. How long would David Koresh have lasted if he had been in a mosque in Harlem? What, 3.5 minutes? That's it. It's over. Goodbye. It's over. Koresh, what, 3 days, 100 days, people waiting. I would have built a big wall around and put a hood over it and said, it's the Koresh prison. We're leaving now. And you guys have a nice time inside, and that's it. Where was, you know, what? It's insanity. It's insanity. And I'll tell you about insanity later, but anyhow, you have a situation where in Irving, Berlin, enrolled in a class with, well, there's a new kid in school. And, by the way, did you see that Los Angeles high school math exam that everybody was on the news, where this teacher made up this math exam with jargon, the vernacular of the day, and he was thrown out because he couldn't. This is it. Question 1, Johnny has an AK-47 with an 80-round clip. If he misses 6 out of 8 shots and shoots 10 times at each drive-by shooting, how many drive-by shootings can he attempt before he has to be reloaded? I mean, this was the test. I think it's very clever. Willie gets $200 for stealing a BMW, $50 for a Chevy, and $100 for a 4x4. If he has stolen 2 BMWs and 3 4x4s, how many Chevys will he have to steal to make $800? They threw this guy out on his ass. I think it's very clever. Hector got 6 girls in the gang pregnant. There are 27 girls in the gang. What percentage of girls in the gang is Hector knocked up? This is a good exam. Albeit it's, you know, it's albeit, but it's, you know, you don't fire a guy for that. You know, give him a new title, creative director. I mean, this is very good. I was very impressed with that. Yeah. Well, anyhow, do you ever notice that Klaus von Bülow was on trial 2 times for attempting murder to a known junkie, a known sex pervert, drug abuser, and who's still alive? Yet Elizabeth Taylor, who knocked off 5 men, with all probable cause. And you know what cops say about probable cause? Probably did it. Forbes, this one, everyone richer than the other, and everybody feels sorry for her. And getting back to Clinton, everybody feels down on Clinton, yet the 2 most popular men in America right now, public rating, O.J. Simpson, on trial for homicide, murder, and double homicide, and Michael Jackson, who we know paid off that kid's father or whatever. So I'm going to show you how the public, you can't, and since you're going to be dealing with the public most of your life, you're going to have to deal with that. But Irving Berlin, come into a classroom with Cole Porter, George Gershwin, a bunch of people, great writers, sitting young students, like yourself. And the teacher says as a challenge question, can anybody in the class write a song about a girl? Irving, I can't teach you. What is it, Irving? Marie, the dawn is breaking, Marie, soon you'll... That's very nice, Irving. A little applause for yay, Irving, yay, Irving. Okay, is there anybody in the audience? Let's see. Anybody? George Gershwin over there, Mr. Cole Porter, Otto Harbach, Yip Harburg over there. Let's see. Here's a good one. How about a song with an analogy between nature and love? I'll give you 3 minutes. I got one, teacher. Irving's got one. What is it? How much do I love you? I'll tell you no lie. How deep is the ocean? How high is the sky? And if I ever lost you, how much would I cry? How deep is the ocean? How high is it? Very good. Irving did another one. That's very good, Irving. That's very, very, very good. Okay, just scruff off the bat. Another song about love and weather. Anybody? Irving. Irving's got another one. What is blue skies? Heading my way. Nothing but blue sky. Irving got another one. That's amazing. Could I have just one more quick one about weather? George Gershwin, Cole Porter, and I got one. Irving's got another one. What is it? We're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave, a da-ba-da-ba-dum-ba-da, certainly can. Whew, that's pretty good. It's a weekend coming up. I was going to give you a long assignment on those 4, and Irving seems to have got them already. What about a song about love is like songs? That's a hard one. I got one, teacher. What is it, Irving? The song has ended, but the melody lingers on. You and the night are gone, but the melody, very good. Irving got another one. All right, I got something I want to hear somebody do, just for the hell of it. And of course, George Gershwin's going, who the hell is this asshole Irving over there? He's fucking assing after class. Okay, I got one. Write a challenge song. Nobody in the class knows what it means. I got one, teacher. What is it, Irving? Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. No, you can't. Irving got another one. Let's try to snap it up, kids. Let's see if anybody else can come in with something that's interesting. How about all you Jewish boys, write a Goyish song. Write something really Catholic, really Christian. Something about like a resurrection holiday. Can anybody do it? Irving, I got one. In your Easter bonnet, with all the frills upon it. Bonnet, Okay, Irving. Irving got another one. Can anybody write a song about being alone? I can't, teacher. What is it, Irving? All alone. I'm so all alone. There is no one else but you. Cole Porter going to kick his ass in after the class. For sure, for sure. Okay, I know one nobody can write in this one. You're all Jewish boys. You're all from the Bronx. You're all from Brooklyn. You're all Russian immigrants, French immigrants. Write a song about drunk Irish people. Anybody got it? I got it. What is it? Come on along, boom, come on along, boom. It's Alexander's a record time, boom, boom, boom. Come on along. It's Irving again. Irving is a little smart. Now, the teacher's getting pissed at Irving. Can anybody write a song about a girl? I got one, teacher. A pretty girl is like a melody. He didn't know he wrote all these. Is like a melody. Very, very good, Anna. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. Can you write a song about any kind of a holiday, Irving? Now she's just talking to Irving. She's not even talking to the rest of the class. Yeah, I can, teacher. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Did you know that Dale Evans wrote Happy Trails, but also wrote the one about the good Lord? Don't bring up something you don't know, Philip. The Bible tells me so. Yeah, very. Oh, by the way, you know that Roy Rogers put Trigger in and he did it to Bullet, the dog. Poor Dale, she got to be sitting around saying, "Whoa, gonna be one hell of a." I ain't dying, not before Roy goes. And then they say, "Can anybody write a song about?" Oh, what do you want to do with your life? What are you going to do when somebody leaves you? And Irving says, what'll I do if you should say we're through and I'm all alone? What'll I do? And that second part of that verse is one line. What'll I do with just a photograph to tell my troubles to? All in the world, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. It's all Irving. Okay, you class go home, and I know no one's going to get this right. I know nobody's going to do it, and I know just one quick song about a girl. But what about the girl that you fall in love with? The girl that I marry will have to be Irving again. Amazing Irving, amazing Irving. Okay, everybody goes home, and I want a song about your country Monday morning. I don't have to wait till Monday. I got one right now. God bless America. What? That's Irving Berlin. And they ask, what was he like? You don't question that. You just learn it, and you just absorb it. It's not necessary whether he is the Mozart or whether he is Tchaikovsky. He was Berlin. That's enough. That's plenty. That is too much. But I had the privilege and the honor to meet Fred Astaire and hang with him for a bit, if you will. Boy, that dates you, doesn't it? Hang with him. But Fred Astaire saved Irving Berlin's career. Fred Astaire tells a story that Irving Berlin, who, by the way, could not play the piano. He could only play on the black keys, an F sharp. So he had a capo, which most people know or have heard about. And like a guitar, it would switch. But he was a salesman. He couldn't, he wasn't Gershwin. I mean, there are two pianists who were composers who, had they not been composers, would have been two of the greatest pianists that ever lived. In Paterson, they would have been in the Rubinstein, they would have been in the class of Vladimir Horowitz, who, by the way, married Toscanini's daughter. That's talking about getting the job for the boss's daughter. Yeah, Rubinstein and Toscanini were up for the job. Toscanini married Rubinstein and Horowitz were up for the job, and Horowitz married. I don't know if he planned it. Obviously, Prince Charles didn't plan this wedding, so I don't know what happened then. But Vladimir Horowitz married, Toscanini's daughter, and then became the concert pianist for the NBC Orchestra. So if you're going to marry the boss's daughter, make it a good boss. And Toscanini was the boss at that time. But the theory of what I was just going to say was, what did I say? Oh, the what? Oh, Fred Astaire, sorry, I'm sorry. Fred Astaire, bless you. Fred Astaire, they bring Irving Berlin out, like 1930, 1938. By the way, he wrote God Bless America in 38, didn't become a hit till 44 after the war. Bombed. Talk about, a dead copyright. And by the way, when you hear Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie gave all that money for that bullshit song, whatever it was called, We the People, whatever the hell, Stand Up and, Quincy Jones, your ass. I don't know what the hell it was called. Jive nonsense, Irving Berlin actually gave all the copyright to the Boy Scouts of America, of God Bless America. But he didn't give just the royalties on the record. He, not Kate Smith. And I must tell you something before I forget. The one line that Irving Berlin ever wrote that really bothered me was in the end of God Bless America. From the mountains to the ocean, to the seashore, to the oceans, white with foam. That never sounded right to me. Foam. I don't know, ocean's foam. I never heard of that. I didn't know that, but about 5 years ago, they opened up Kate Smith's trust thing, and there actually was a letter from Irving Berlin rewriting, because he was unhappy with that line. He was not because, I'm not trying to, it's not like Jan Wenner, who when he's editing something, he'll say, this needs another brilliant editor. All right? Another brilliant editor? Okay, Jan, I don't know. I'm not saying that because I thought, it always, but he never could change foam. But instead of from the mountains to the prairie to the ocean, white with foam, he inserted from the wheat fields of Virginia. Boy, the man just had it, how descriptive can you be? He could never change foam. He couldn't get a better line. But he had from the wheat fields of Virginia. I wouldn't have thought of that. That is, that's the adjacent to Big in Santa Fe. But Fred Astaire singing for Morse Hart. Morse Hart's the greatest playwright of the era, and he's sitting there with Fred Astaire, and they've had all these big hit movies, and they bring out Irving Berlin by train, comes with his dumb piano and his capo and stuff like that, and they say, well, have you read the script? This is Morse Hart, and this is Fred Astaire, the hottest, and this is Irving Berlin. Yeah, I read the script, and Irving Berlin, little guy with glasses, he said, well, what have you thought of for a good song for it? He says, I got one good one, I'm putting on my top hat, putting on my tail. And Morse Hart says, I don't feel anything about that, Fred. He's whispering to Fred, I don't feel anything about that. Don't sound. And, well, Fred, Irving, Mr. Berlin, do you have anything else? He said, yeah, I have another idea when they're outside. I have a good one. It's a lovely day today, so whatever you got to do, you better be to spend it dear with you. And Morse Hart goes, this stuff's really terrible, Fred. Are you sure it's Irving Berlin? He said, yes, Irving Berlin. But his voice says, it sounds terrible. It's got a double, triple ending on that, by the way. And it did. It had one of the greatest endings you have ever heard. It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, it'd be a lovely day to spend it dear with you. Listen to this. So if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing left to say, except it's a lovely day for saying It's a lovely day. Whoa. Give me a break, Irving, please. Never got to it because Mozart was very disenchanted with so far what he didn't get it. He says, do you have anything else? He said, well, I was going to write this song. I had this beautiful song, you know, I'm Marie, the dawn is breaking. Marie. Mozart says, I have to leave. I can't stay in here. This is embarrassing. The man has no concept of what we're doing. He doesn't, I don't understand any of it. Suddenly it hits Fred Astaire. Irving, didn't you write Always? The song I didn't play before at the classroom. He said, Irving said, yeah. He said, Mozart says, the one that's #1 now? And Irving says, yes, that's my song. He says, that's my wife and my favorite song. We love that song so much. I mean, it's like our anniversary. It's going to be our song forever. Fred Astaire says, play a little bit of it for Mozart, would you? And Irving says, I'd be delighted to. I've been loving you always, with a love that's true always. And Mozart looks at Fred and says, oh my God. It's not the music, it's him. It was Irving. And to that day, Fred Astaire credited, I saved Irving's career. Because had he not thought of making him play that song, never would have happened. Never would have happened. Is there a cassette near here? There isn't. I just wanted to play you something that you would find amusing. Oh my God. Dr. Calvin never got any free therapy sessions for that. No. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. I'll tell you why. For sure, it's very simple too. It's really easy. Because they're the only profession in the world that has civil rights and honor built into them. They could play next to a black man long before Jackie Robinson ever got into the major league. They never cared. They not only could play behind a woman, they could play behind a black woman like Billie Holiday or Ella Fitzgerald. They never questioned it. It didn't matter. Honorable, proud, incredibly wonderful profession. You'll never find it anywhere else. You didn't need a Walter O'Malley. You didn't need that. You didn't need Benny Goodman to learn about it. Charlie Christian from, albeit Charlie Christian died on an operating table because he couldn't get treatment at a hospital, but you didn't need Lionel Hampton or anyone else. No, you didn't need Walter O'Malley to introduce them. It was done. They could play behind a woman, they could play behind a man, they could play next to any color man. It did not matter. Women, men, anything. The proudest, most wonderful profession in the world. Never get any higher. Never, ever, ever. That's why so many people want to be it. It's the best. It's the best profession in the world. But that's really the bottom line, because, you know, it's when you think about, you know, what baseball had to go through to do what they had to do for no reason, you understand? And what most people don't understand is that what Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, and all that had in common, their genius was not the only thing they had in common. The most important thing they had in common is they all came from the South and couldn't vote in America. It wasn't that long ago that Michael Jordan wouldn't have been allowed to play at the university he graduated. Not that long ago. Not that long ago. And if Michael Jordan is retired because he's done everything he wants to, does that mean we can expect soon Madonna will retire after she's done everyone she's wanted to? I don't know. I just don't know where that came from. That's dumb. I probably get a lot of shit on feedback from that. Yeah, you don't have that. That guy's leaving. You go home. You can't be bothered with it. There they have it. But, oh, did you? Oh, yeah, you must have, yeah. But, oh, you know, Ike Turner called me all the time. Yeah, Phil. Yeah, Phil, it wouldn't be told me again, Phil. Now, I do Ike in front of Ike, so you don't have to. It's not racist or any shit like that. And if you can do it in front of Ike, you can do it. It's like Keith says, he's gonna kill you one of these fucking days, Phil. He's gonna fucking kill you. Phil, the woman told me again, Phil. I said, that woman hasn't talked about you in 20 years, Ike. She's not going to talk about you, Ike. Yeah, Phil, the woman talking about me again, Phil. You know, drive me fucking crazy, Phil. You just drive me crazy, Phil. It's like when he heard River Deep Mountain High, Joe, give him credit. And I said, Phil. I said, what do you think of the record? Hey, Phil. You know, Phil. What do I can do for you? You know, there were about 2,000 people on this record, right, Phil? You know, Phil, I got to tell you, it's 1966. They ain't invented the synthesizer yet. But you know, funny thing is, Ike is great. He called me out. He wouldn't be talking about women, even, you know, poor. You know, I said, why don't you write your memoirs? Yeah, I'm gonna write my memoir for you, and it is. But I need a title. I said, how about the woman be talking about me again, Phil? Yeah, the woman be talking about me. He called me all the time. Yeah, the woman be talking about me again, Phil. She told me all the time, Phil, all the time. But he did have a great, Whoopi Goldberg, when she had a television show, she tried to play brother crap with him, but was setting him up because the woman, I don't know what the hell she did it for, but anyhow, she said to Ike, Ike, now I was there the whole time, so I mean, and you don't get involved, you know, any policeman will tell you, the first thing you stay away from is a civil dispute, because they'll arrest the husband and the wife, hit you over the head with a frying pan, or shoot you, because it's civil. It has nothing to do with civility. It's just like the Civil War is the most beastly war we've ever had, because Civil War is absurd. So they said, but she said to him, oh, well, I'll just give you an idea of Ike's interpretation of, I once said to Ike in front of, and we were sitting, and Keith was standing, and Keith was like egging me on, ask him, knowing that Ike would probably shoot me if I asked him. Ike will never touch me. But he said, you're going to ask him a phone question, I don't believe it, he's going to fall down. I said, Ike, I just want to know something. Did you ever, we all had I had a Tyrannosaurus X. You know, we all know what X's are and stuff like that. I mean, I love Tina and I have a wonderful relationship with her. But I said, just between you and me, I mean, Keith wants to know, did you ever throw did you ever throw an axe at Tina? Yeah, they're not a fair question for you. They're not a fair question for you. I said, well, did you ever throw boiling water? And Keith is going, he's going to kill us, he's going to kill us, he's going to kill us. You know, Keith is excited, maybe we're going to go, we don't know. I said, did you ever throw boiling water at Tina? Yeah, Phil. Yeah, the truth is I did, Phil, but it didn't hit, so it don't count, right? That's his idea of, you know. But he was asked, was it true that before you and Tina became famous, you were abusive to her? You were so abusive to her. By the way, Ike was never into drugs in the 60s. He was just like Will Chamberlain. He was into women. And they don't knock Will Chamberlain, who writes about it in Glory Time. And yet Ike gets a rap. Drugs became a problem in the 80s when he wasn't doing anything. But I mean, as far as their relationship, you know, there's no one better than Tina, and Ike is a friend. You know, I love it. But I mean, I don't get involved. I don't know what went down or what happened. I know he was, you know, he was a bad mother. I mean, that was his rap. I mean, he had to be that. He carried 2 guns, and he was a tough guy. I mean, he was on the road in the South. He had to be a tough guy. But his abuse of Tina, personal, I don't know anything about it, and inexcusable if it happened. You know, which is why I say if, you know, since men beat women up and hit them in their face where they'll be the most likely to never see or look good for other men, then Lorraine Bobbitt did what she had to do, because that's what you got to get back the same way, you know. You hurt them where it really hurts. And, well, you know, it's not a problem. I mean, it's a fact. It just has to be fact. I mean, men don't kick women in their ass. They don't kick them in their back. They punch them in their eye, punch them in their nose, break their face up, so they won't be attractive to another man. Well, you know, talk about that guy, Bobbitt guy, being arrested for, you know, rape or something. Talk about a guy with a good excuse. I don't know. I just wanted to see Exhibit 1 on Court TV. I waited, never coming. Nothing. But he said, anyhow, he said, were you abusive to Tina? Tell the truth. Were you abusive to Tina? So much so that she wanted to jump out the window of the apartment the 2 of you lived in. He said, I don't understand the question. Well, the question is simple. Were you so abusive to Tina that she tried to jump out the window? Yes, she tried to jump out the window, but it's hard to hurt yourself from the basement. Good for Tina. You know, good. It's like before Billy Joel who, you know, but he called me one day. Somebody, his wife, his ex-wife, called and said, you know, he said she needs a name. She's checking in a hotel. It shows you how looks and light can be deceiving. So she needs a fake name. So I come up with names like, you know, Helen Back, names, you know, I don't know, you know, Lois Lane, just like that. You know, just to give her a name, because if she ain't gonna come up with no name. So I called down at the desk, I say, I have a name, you know, for Christopher Brinkley, if you, let me, oh, she's already come up with a name. Oh, she has a name? What's her name? I said, Lynn Guiney. Not bad. Not bad. Wouldn't expect it from her. I was very, very, very surprised. Very surprised. I wasn't so surprised about Billy Joel. I said, Billy, you know, it's like, you know, what's always happened. I said, you know, it happened to you, you know. He doesn't get it. Billy Joel just doesn't get it. But, no, he doesn't. What are they doing yet? They don't have that cassette, I guess, huh? No? No? I guess they don't have it, right? Yeah. I guess they don't have it. I guess they don't have it. Well, then I would finish with, hello? Well, I don't know, they're talking out there. So. No, I just wanted you to hear something that was kind of interesting. But in lieu of that, as we speak. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, did you ever hear those wonderful Lawrence Welk nonsense? Yeah. Where he would do with the champagne lady, come on, boys, she gonna sing a nicer song now, let's give her a nicer feel. I mean, he used to do those. The most famous one he ever did was that this portion of our television show brought to you by Tang, the orange the Jews drink. Off they boom, Tang off, boom, immediately. Oh, boom, right, right? I just want to play them this one thing. Oh, that's how it works? I see. You want to put it up here? Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Oops, there's your license.
That's my what?
Your license button.
Oh, my license. That's it. Where's rewind? I don't know how to operate. I tell you, the man's a fraud.
Do you want to rewind it the whole way?
No concept. Absolutely not. Where's George Martin when we need him? Is that the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They used to knock rock and roll, you know, they got to destroy. Now you've written this great song. Well, let me see, how do we tell how loud it is? No, I know how we tell. I mean, how do we hear how loud it is? Oh, she said good line, if they can hear it. Very good. Play. Does that mean I am a fraud? I don't know not a thing about this crap. Who wants to? That's what they have engineers for. And pretty women. Oh. No, I just erased it. Oh, shit. Okay, stop. What? This a bitch.
What do you want to do to it?
This is hard. You don't know how many master tapes that would have come out that I ripped. Larry would say, don't hit the guy. Oh, shit, Spector's in the control room again. Oh, no. Crack whip. Safe all right. It's a bitch to stop that thing going that fast. It's hard to hit the right button. It's very hard. Well, it is. That's what they have George, you know, those kind of people for. They do. Anyway, they used to make fun of rock and roll, right? All that crap, you know. So this will give you some idea. Now you write a song called, fantastic song, you write this beautiful love song. And it's recorded by the hottest group of the era when you write it. I keep opening these up and wondering why they empty so fast, because they're not empty. But I just have to tell you one very quick thing before I forget. Oh, Al Lewis. No, I just have to tell you one thing about federal court. But Al Lewis, Irving Caesar, who wrote, he was awakened at 4 o'clock in the morning and said, Jolson wants to hear a song. I have a great idea. So Irving Caesar was in a cold sleep. He He said, just give me a dummy lyric, like the dummy lyric to today. Yesterday was potato chips. You hear all that bullshit. You don't know if it's true or not. But it doesn't really matter. Dummy lyric. But he actually wrote, he said, oh, T for two, two for T, me for you, and you for me. That's it. Just let me go back to sleep. And he came back the next day. He woke up Irving. He said, he loves it. He loves the song. No, he loves the lyric. And Irving had to sit down and write a song called T for Two, and that's why the song makes no sense. Listen to that song someday. We will have a family, a boy for you, a girl for me. Oh, happy with T for two and two for nothing. It makes no sense. It's before acid, before anything. Like Jimi Hendrix could have had his name on that song. Resso, great player. God, he was good. God, he was good. Jesus. Well, he was. It's like they didn't put Janis into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're putting her in this year, but they wouldn't put her in the last few years because she started out with Big Brother and the Holding Company, and so big fight, over who should get in, should she get in, should they get in with? I said, wait a minute now. Can anybody in this room name the Comets? Why Bill Haley and the Comets in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And I would throw out 90% of those people right now, except myself, of course, because it's an honor to be in that. My mother's still waiting for something to open up. When? When do I see something? A bust of you next to Babe Ruth? She had no concept of what's going on. But I'm in a Hall of Fame that doesn't exist. What is that? Tina Turner inducted me? Nothing. I have nothing. Nothing to show, nothing. Except I'm on a committee that I don't put you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. My job on the committee is to keep you out. Keep the riffraff out. No, never pass that. I got 10,000 letters for Brenda Lee. 15,000 for Connie Francis. How many fingers I got up, and which one do you think is pointing at them letters? Not a chance, buddy. Not in this era. But anyhow, it's like Bill Haley and Cobb. They fought over whether Frankie Lyman should get in alone or with the teenagers. I said, first of all, maybe we should not induct all these people, but just have a record category. Because these people don't have the catalog to sustain maybe an induction into the... But everybody grew up to Earth Angel, but the Penguins are never going to get in. Everybody grew up to In the Still of the Night, but the Five Satins are never going to get in. So let's induct records and have the guys get up. And the best, funniest thing was the Drifters. When Ahmed got up, they said, man, no, tonight we're going to induct the Drifters into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And here to accept the awards for the Drifters are the Drifters. And like 800 guys. Waiters started taking off their jackets. I play with hey. There were like 4 statues, and people were coming from everywhere. And the best line I ever heard at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was when Mike Love got up there, that asshole, and he say some things like, I'm the greatest, I'm the this, I'm the that, I'm the this, and I challenged this guy. He challenged Phil, he challenged Paul McCartney, he challenged every Mick Jagger. He challenged everybody, every group, every lead singer to come up and challenge, go on the road as hard as he works. And I don't know, I wouldn't vote for the Beach Boys and put them in the sewer. What is that nonsense? They're lucky to, Brian, oh, I'm not sick, am I, Phil? No, you're fine. Look good to me. Your kid's a little overweight, but you're doing fine. It's like Dr. Landy, his psychiatrist, came up to me and said, I've done a lot for him. I said, then why is your hair purple? Why? Dr. Landy wear purple and the earring in his ear. He said, I've done a lot for Brian, haven't I, Phil? I said, well, I guess you have. I don't know. I don't know. You want me to weigh it on a scale of what? He said, look, he lost 220 pounds with me. I said, that's not bad. I said, but you know what? You're getting 20%. Richard Simmons would have done it for $65. And a lunch kit. You don't get any applause, a merit badge of approval for that. But I love it. It's just like, I hadn't seen Ringo in 10 years, and we were at a party. It was a party for his tour, his world tour. And I went up to him, and he told me, how you doing? He said, I'm on my world tour. I said, what? He said, I'm on my world tour. I said, yeah, I know you're on your world tour. How's it going? Yeah, I'm on my world tour. I said, well, how's it? How you doing? It's on the old tool. All right. He said, I said, oh, there's is Todd Rundgren? Yeah, Todd Rundgren. He's my drummer. He's on the old tool. Yeah, okay, Ringo. Nice seeing you. I love Ringo, by the way. He and Charlie Watts, two best, other than Hal Blaine, like metronome. They're like metronome. Richie, like a metronome. Turn him on, he come right on. I make fun of Richie because he's just he's comical because he is, but he's as a drummer, rock and roll. I mean anything. He keep time better than anybody else. He and Charlie Watt keep the time better than anybody else. I remember the other story anyway. The Sonny Bozo's going to Congress? Amazing. Absolutely. Somebody said to me, if I had killed Sonny and Cher when they walked in the studio, there'd be no Sonny and Cher. Can you imagine? I would never do that. So now you write a song. It's one of the greatest songs. I happen to like Cher very much. Sonny's complete, He upgraded to a complete asshole. I mean, complete asshole. I mean, the man has no concept of, of anything, manners of a banshee and backbone of a pretzel. Twit. But anyway, so you write this wonderful song, the biggest group in America records it, and this is your song, and you are somebody who's very down 20 years later on rock and roll. This was a song you had written, i.e. Irving Sees a Tea for Two, i.e. Moonlight and Roses, any beautiful song, okay? Help. Just a minute, I can hit rewind. Just before we get, you're the composer. You have just heard your song recorded this way for the first time. And it's 20 years before rock and roll, which was the worst bastardization, supposedly, of all time, according to David Susskind.
Oh, what delight to be given the right to be carefree and gay once again. No longer slinking, respectably drinking like civilized ladies and men.
No longer need we miss a charming scene like this in some secluded rendezvous that overlooks the avenue, with someone sharing a delight, chatting this and that, with cocktails for two, as we enjoy a cigarette to some exquisite chansonette. Two hands are sure to slyly meet beneath a serviette, with cocktails for two. My head may go reeling, but my...
See, you see, what they do is they pour God over everything like ketchup and make you feel bad about, listening to the music. It's fun. I don't know what it means. I don't know if the composers were very happy. I don't know if the parents were very happy, but it was what it was. Now, you have obviously, at some point in time, heard... Did you ever hear John's line that he did when they did the King and Queen? When they played the, what is that called when you appear before the Queen? Concert, what is it called? Audience, yeah, something like, what? Tony Orlando, what? Command performance, right? Did you ever hear that one when he said that, all you people, he said, it was all royalty. The King and the Queen were upstairs, not the King, the Queen was upstairs, he said, and all the people were downstairs, and they were just singing like Twist and Shout, some shit like that, And he said, well, some of you, I know you've heard it, and he said, all you people in the front, it's all right if you just join in a little bit, and clap your hands. And you people in the upstairs with the Queen, you just rattle your jewelry. John was great. I miss him every day. Did you ever hear, it's a bootleg, you might have heard it, did you ever hear the Elvis Presley record of Are You Lonesome Tonight, where he laughs? Good. Then my trip to Wayne, I'm lost. I can't eject it at all. Not even a chance in hell. Ain't gonna happen. Be here till little Wayne becomes a basketball town. What does that mean? Oh. Yeah, but how you, oh, I have to rewind it, though. Oh, I can rewind. Oh, no, I can't rewind. Well, I can, but I can hit why do they put the record button so close to the play button? Scare the hell out of you. What? I hate smartasses. I hate people who know so much more than I do in so little time. Last week I couldn't spell producer. Today I is one. Don Was. Somebody said, what do you think of Don Was? I said, I come to bury season, not praise him. Then Don Was. I said, hey, you know, the more you drink, the more drugs you take, the better the music sounds. I don't listen to those people. I mean, nonsense. Stupid people. Anyhow, this was a recording of Elvis Presley, where you will get to hear and see and feel and understand the Elvis Presley I knew. His recording live in Las Vegas, opening night, his second time there, international. Big night. Big night. Everybody in the world was there, you know. But this was a bad time, a very strange time for Elvis and myself, because it was when the gentleman who worked as security for me for many years, Mike Stone, was, what secret, what's going on? Right. It's time to go, the fire marshal? What? I'm ready to go anytime you want. All right. What? They want the tape recorder back? Oh, it's going to fall. Good, but my papers don't matter. Right, that's good. A fucking $2 tape recorder going to fall. Putrid flowers, it says at the top. Anyhow, he was going, Priscilla and Michael were seeing each other at the time. Not that Elvis had it, you know, you never felt sorry for him. You know, Elvis was a twin, most handsome human being I've ever seen in my life. And it was just a strange time because at that particular time, Priscilla eventually ended up for a short time with Michael, but it was just a strange, uncomfortable time because we were all into martial arts and Michael was his instructor as opposed to Ed Parker. Michael was his true instructor. But we played a joke. He did Are You Lonesome Tonight? And we would feed him lines. Because Elvis and I originally met in when he was doing a lot of people didn't know that. It was in some book. I don't know how they found out about it, but Elvis is out again, you know, when he came back after Christmas. By the way, as genius that Irving Berlin was, he sent a letter, 6,000 letters out to every disc jockey in the country saying not to play the Elvis Presley recording of White Christmas because it was blasphemy. And he was that upset about rock and roll, you know, Irving Berlin. And it's really funny, as genius that he was, and he was, you know, we already understand that, you know. But the last song he wrote for a picture was Sayonara with Marlon Brando, directed by Charlie. The Countess was the last one, but Sayonara was the last song he wrote, and with Marlon Brando, and wonderful picture. Red Buttons, a beautiful picture, wonderful picture, and the song which Irving Berlin never did. He never played down to anything. He was like Mr. Hallmark. He really knew how to write for the people. It's Sayonara. And it's, you know, sayonara, sayonara. It's nothing like Berlin. So at least he had the sense, you know, to say, I can't do this anymore. You know, they want something else. I'm passing. So, but I just mentioned that Berlin had done that to Elvis Presley because I haven't been aware of it at the time or heard about it. But we were in Elvis Presley land. We were in Las Vegas, and I was feeding him lines through an earplug. This is when he was in the top shape of top shape. The Apache uniform, the martial arts were down. He was just incredible. And so he sang Are You Lonesome Tonight, opening night. And we would feed him lines to make him laugh. Okay? Now, this became a bootleg thing where people got it. But it's, a lot of people never, you know. In any event, I have the recording. But anyhow, this is Elvis Presley live. You will hear it live with the band, everything, at Las Vegas. And we're feeding him lines like the most ridiculous lines that he repeats at first. And the joke was, does he think he could go out there and sing a line, does your memory disappear out your bald head or something in there, and see if anybody in the audience would sense it or know it? It was a joke. And then he was going to say something about it. You never saw that, did you? And he was going to catch them on it. Except he got caught. Okay? And then we started. And then you'll hear the Elvis Presley that I knew. He's fed that first line. Does your...
Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry?
I'm just sorry to interrupt, but I'm just saying he was that good. He was the most you say, how could Elvis be underestimated? The way Michael Jackson's overestimated. He's underestimated. He was an incredible thing. When you hear white trash records of black music written in the 50s and late 50s, early 50s, being done by the McGuire sisters and all that, they were rotten people and rotten musicians. Because Elvis Presley sang black music, but you never got insulted. Good rockin' tonight. He was just that good, you know. But anyhow, this is. Goddamn. I just.
Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart?
Now listen, I feed him this.
Does your memory stray to a bright summer day when I kissed you and called you sweetheart? Do the chairs in your parlor seem empty and bare? Do you gaze at your bald head and wish you had hair?
Watch him.
Filled with pain.
Here's Elvis.
Shall I come back? Tell me, dear, are you lost? Oh, Lord, Lord. I wonder. You know, someone said, the world's a stage and each must play a part.
I'm telling you. Ain't shit. What a laugh.
Oh, God. Oh, man, I tell you. And I had no cause to die.
Isn't that amazing? Eat shit. Sing it, baby.
Sing it, baby.
He's long. But what a laugh.
Okay. Tell me, dear, are you lonesome?
Now watch him regain.
Is your heart filled with pain?
Then we make him lose it again.
Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight?
Now watch what he says about how long he's been. It capitalizes, it captures the time.
That's it, man. 14 years right down the drain, boy, I'll tell you.
14 years right down the drain. That was Elvis. That was the Elvis I knew. I don't know about this guy they talk about today. You know, I don't know. But I know I was telling Charles in the car that you know, if Elvis had heard about his daughter and likely would be dead, die. Now, my theory on that is that, you know, she was, sad as it is, her life and what she's done, and certainly nobody should have that obligation. But as I see it, you know, she's not Elvis Presley's daughter. He just happened to be in the room when she was conceived. You know, I don't see her as anything representative of Elvis Presley. Not that she has to be. But, you know, it's kind of absurd. I will let you go by telling you just that. As I see it, the important things that I see, things are, is to remember that it is not just as to know what you know is knowledge. To know what you don't know is true knowledge. To know what you want is important. To know what you don't want is a lot more important. Because if you know what you don't want, you're probably going to end up with something close to what you want. And the things that they teach you that scare me, that you have to be, is confusion. As I was telling you earlier about, there is no right and wrong, because everybody says I'm right, you wrong. And there is no truth, it leads you to truth, because truth is, he's telling the truth, he's lying, I'm telling the truth, back and forth. So you end up looking for something in a courtroom, in anywhere, accuracy. That's the key. So in my particular line, I would prefer to be accurately rude than hypocritically polite. But accuracy is what you want your government to tell you. Accurate is what you want in your music. You want it to be accurate. You want it to be spot on. You don't want the truth, because it's a version. You know, it's like the absence of malice theory, where, you know, were you two making love together? Were you two in love? Is that the truth? No, it's not the truth, but it's accurate. Big difference between the truth and accuracy. So, the other thing that concerns me, and that I just wanted to pass on, was that never get confused by success and fame, because that's a very big confusion point, especially in America. Madonna is famous. Mother Teresa is successful. Big difference. And it's hard to think in those terms, but that's how you almost have to think, or you won't get it. You know, it won't happen. But there were people who came along in my life. They walked into my heart and left footprints on my heart, which will last forever, and I'll never be the same. My father was one who inspired to know him is to love him. A son of mine who 3 years ago this Christmas on my birthday passed away at the age of 9, 3 years ago this Christmas. My mentor and teacher and philosopher and friend and brother, Lenny Bruce. My beloved friend and brother and best friend, John Lennon. And King Elvis. And I hope you will get to meet and have these imprints on your heart that will be so indelible forever as these people were to me. And hopefully they will stay with you a lot longer and for much more time. I just want to tell you 3 very quick things, and one is I'm not a fan of all these people who are against colorization of films, because I believe it's more important things to do. If you don't want a film colorized, Spielberg, get your goddamn money and buy the film. Or as Jack was saying, God damn it, get out and buy the film if you don't want it colorized. Well, if you don't want it colorized, get out and buy it. That'll stop it. And what bothers me about those people are the same thing that bothers me about the priest and the rabbi that I will tell you quickly, because these people don't seem to concern themselves with the fact that Woody Allen used the entire George Gershwin score from Manhattan, and nobody seemed to care, because George never gave him permission. But they're very worried about somebody colorizing John Huston's film. It doesn't have any credibility. But the reason I get into Spielberg is because I don't see very much difference between Andrew Lloyd Webber, Steven Spielberg, and Stephen King. They are today what is needed today. They can sell big, get big, and do big. Madonna, Mother Teresa. I don't know that there's any different correlation. But it reminded me with Spielberg of the story of the priest and the rabbi, who the priest said to the rabbi, "How many Jews are there in the world?" And the rabbi said, "I think there's about 3 million, 4 million. The priest said, "Come on, 50 million. Rabbi says, 50 million Jews? No, crazy. The priest says, "I'm sure of it. I'm positive of it." The rabbi says, "Look, we've been friends, but there are not 50 million Jews in the world. Maybe 5. That'd be high. But at least 3 or 4. And the priest says, "You're wrong. 50, maybe more." The rabbi says, "I'm not going to argue with you. Nonsense. We're friends. Let's stay friends. I'm going to leave now." The priest says, "I'm just telling you, there's more than 50 million Jews in the world." The rabbi says, "I'm leaving now, but I just want to know before I leave, how the hell in the world did you ever get such an absurd figure? Like 50 million Jews are in the world today." The priest says, "It's easy. Every German I've met since World War II saved at least 100. Well, for what it is. And then there is, what? Zap? What about rap? The best rap artist I ever heard was James Baldwin. I mean, if you want rap music, then you really want to hear, forget 40s, 50s, bebop, forget even James Baldwin. That's the most rage I've ever heard in any black quote-unquote poetry. But, again, it comes down to talent. Has nothing to do with the context. It's, hey, some guys say it the way it's supposed to be said, some don't. But the best rap artist that I ever heard was Chuck Berry. Motor cooled down, the heat went down, that when I heard the highway sound. Rainwater blowing all under my hood, and I knew that I was doing my motor good. Maybelline. Why can't you? Well, he just had a sense of melody that was scary. They don't pay homage to him. He doesn't pay homage to them. Nothing. It's, it's like, what do I think of Michael Jackson's dancing compared to what? It's an art form. I believe the media tends to get on it. I believe the media is in tone racist, and I believe they do that to aggravate people and get them upset. When we in this room all know the largest grossing tour in the history of the world is going to be the Rolling Stones. No black rap group. Barbra Streisand is going to gross more than any black rap group. Grateful Dead will. Madonna will. So it's just the thing, the violence. They like to get you thinking this is really taking over them. It's not taking over anything. It's just there. It's something that is. But as far as rage and fire and... I believe that if the Black Panthers had been allowed to exist, and they were killed off and destroyed, there would not be this gang problem. They had a sense of pride in the community, and they wanted to see it exist. These people who come on, these people, it's Perot, you can't call them these people. No, imagine if Perot had gotten up there and said, "I want to thank all the people from the National Colored People." Colored people? But that's what he was speaking to that night. Colored people. You don't call colored people anymore. So he made it slip. He's somewhere in a rubber room now anyway. I don't know what happened to him. But, he's a little bit, He thinks that the problem with the dolphins is if they're so smart, how come they can't loosen themselves from those fish nets? No. Don't work that way, Ross. You got it mixed up. No, but black music, look, there is no such thing as a rap or this or that. It is what it is, and... it's good, but I'd like to see, if I say I support the PLO, people say I'm anti-Semitic. You know, if I supported Mandela, I was a separatist. You know, you can't please, you know, the people. You have to believe in what you believe. And when I accepted the award in Philadelphia a few months back, they gave me, don't ask me, they must have been very desperate. They gave me the City of Philadelphia award. I said I would be remiss. It was when Mandela had become elected, because I supported him since 1960. And I was a supporter of Arafat too. And there's not that much, there is no difference, you know. The last refuge of a person without a homeland is tyranny. They have to become terrorists. There's no other choice. They have no other choice. Why they don't want to give them a homeland, how Israel got the Palestinian Liberation Organization mixed up with the Germans, who they trade with, and I won't go to Germany because I won't turn on a lampshade. It scares me, and I won't turn on a lamp, I won't touch soap, because I don't know. I know what went on in Germany. That was no mystery to me. I know what went on. I don't see that with the Palestinians. I don't see that problem. But anyway, your beliefs are whether I don't know what got me, but anyway, the reason I brought up the other thing was I will answer what you'd like, but I wanted to just tell you that if Adolf Eichmann were to come back, Adolf Eichmann, the mass murderer, responsible for any number of hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Jews being put to death. And you look at the insanity around you, and you look at the absurdity around you, and it's not much different in the musical world, and it's not much different in any other world. And when someone asks about rap, I believe the media has a lot, and I'm not down on media, I just think they should be tested every week, like we all are in our jobs. Are they all on dope? Nobody's ever asked Peter Jennings, does he load up? Nobody's ever asked Dan Rather, or that Howdy Doody looking guy on ABC. Nobody's ever said that about them. Do you realize that the guy on Good Night, or whatever it's called, the Howdy Doody looking guy, who was in Ted Koppel, he got his job during the hostage crisis. While people were suffering, he got a job. That's how Nightline started. Nobody questions whether or not he smokes too much, whether he drinks too much, whether he's loaded when he's on. Nobody did. They don't get tested. They don't even get tested on anything. And they make 6, 7 figures a year. I find that, but they pick on the railroad guy because the guy Ted Koppel has more power over us than the railroad guy does, and they still haven't told us what happened to US Air 121. So it's it's a dichotomy that is a vicious cycle. But anyway, bottom line is closing is that if by the way, is Donald Trump a cock? Oh, I can't say that word. Is Donald? Well, just let me get one couple of terrible words in real fast, only because I wrote the note and I want to say it. Is Donald Trump a cocksucking, baby-rapping, money-grabbing, whore, bootlegger, extortionist, establishment, capitalistic prick, or am I just jealous? I had to. And whoever doesn't like it, blow it out your upwardly mobile ass. Professional ass. It's not whether you win or lose that counts. Remember that. It's whether I win or lose. And I'm always interested in your meaningless problems and intentionally interested in them. And I would close by just telling you about one quick thing about Adolf Eichmann, who was a mass murderer and was responsible for the murder of maybe 2-3 million people, at least, what they know. And if he were to return today, perhaps, he might say this. My name was Adolf Eichmann, and every day the Jews came to what they thought was fun in the showers. They were very clever, the Jews. They would hide their children in the bundles of clothing so I could not find them. But I was a soldier. I found the children. And I would put the children with their parents, and I would burn them, and I would put them to death. I would put them in the ovens, I would batten down the latches, and I would turn on the ovens. Then I would go in after they burned, and I would remove their gold teeth and their jewelry, and use it for strategic defense. when they say Adolf Eichmann should hang. And they did. They hung me in full view of the courtyard. Then they said Adolf Eichmann was a beast. No, I was not a beast. I was a soldier. No. They are soldiers and they are soldiers. This was a beast. Why was I a beast? I watched every Jew die. I watched every Jew burn. I went into among the Jews and removed from their burnt bodies. Do yourselves think you're any better because you burned your enemies from far away, never seeing what you had done to them? Hiroshima, Auf Wiedersehen, and thank you and good night. How's that a maudlin note to end on? Oh, may I just say one thing? One thing for, I'm sorry, it breaks Phil, but I know you all go out into this world as youngsters with visions and hope, but I know one thing is for sure, and I have to say it's it. I know you'll all come back as stars. Bless you. Well, we can do that later. Oh, the old book. Yeah, if I can just go to the back for the black.
I love going up. Tell the world I do. I pray every night she'll learn to love me too. Corina, 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 I love you so. Oh, little darling, where you been so long? Oh, little darling, where you been so long? I ain't had no loving since you've been gone. Corina, 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 I love you so. I let Corina